Hi, everyone. This is Aaron, and you are listening to the Sound Words Podcast, a podcast where we get a look into the life and times of today's worship leaders. Today's first-time guest is Jenn Low, a worship leader at FCBC Walnut. In this episode, we talk about growing up playing music at FCBC Walnut, returning to FCBC Walnut after being away for school, leading music at FCBC Walnut today, and experiencing emotions regarding relationships and health through music. Thanks for listening. This is your first, right? This is your first podcast ever?
Yeah.
It's your first time using this Yeti microphone, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, I've used it in the past for like musical fun, but
so
not for like actual like
talking.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Well, like singing.
Okay. Well, I'm glad this is the first time you get to use it then. Welcome back, Jen. Welcome back from school. Why don't you tell me about your whole school journey? Because you and I used to play music together when you were in high school. And then college, I guess we still did play together, right? When you went to CSUF. But then you went to grad school. So what happened?
Yeah. After I graduated from Cal State Fullerton, I pretty much took like half a year off to apply for grad school. So I finished undergrad in May, and then I started grad school in San Diego in January. And then St. Augustine's like a slightly accelerated program, so I finished that in 2 years, and I literally graduated this past December of 2018.
So your program was for 2 years. It seems like... Well, now that you're back, I feel like it seems that it was a short time. But I think that when you were away, it felt like, oh yeah, this is a long time for you to be away. I don't know. Maybe it's just like perspective, you know?
Yeah. Well, when I was in grad school, it felt like the time was flying by really quickly, especially because like 2 of my terms is spent going out on fieldwork internships. And for me, I actually like went out of state for one of them. So like I went to Georgia for a whole summer for 3 months.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then I went back to San Diego and finished my last one. And even though like that whole grad school experience felt really fast, coming back home, I realized 2 years is a long time because so much has changed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Do you feel that you and me, our relationship has changed?
Maybe, yes. I don't know.
Because I'm not your counselor anymore, that's for sure.
I never really felt like you were my counselor, though.
Thank you.
Does that offend you?
No, I'm not offended.
I mean, I saw you as somebody who was like in charge of like Unicoi music, but...
No, it's true. I never gave you like counsel, you know, like I never like, I don't know, like you're okay. For one thing, we're segregated by like gender, I guess, in Unicoi, right? Like it's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we played music for a long time together though, I guess.
Yeah.
What, like 4 years, maybe more, 6 years, maybe?
Well, see, because we played together in high school, that whole time in high school. And then in college, you don't really have like too much of a hand in turf. And so, but then we still played together on Sundays. So I would say that we played together for a total of 8 years before I left.
Nice. That's a long time, Jen. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel that we have some history there.
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay, all right. Thanks. That's reassuring.
Actually, okay, I do think that our relationship has changed because in high school, you were really strict and you had these really high expectations and you never gave us a good grade. Like when we would play and we would sing, you're like, that was like maybe a B. And we were like, oh, we got a B. That's amazing. And then I remember when we were graduating as seniors, you were like, oh yeah. And also when we were seniors, that's when you first started like mixing like music and producing stuff. We like we did like interviews and stuff before our album came out. It was like so, I don't know, like
it's ambitious.
More, yeah. Like we took pictures as a brand. Like, dude, that was, that's so crazy.
Those are fun times.
Yeah,
yes,
but then,
you're right. Those were my beginning days. Yes.
Yeah, and then I remember as seniors when we were about to leave to go to college, you were like, by the way, I just want you guys to know that you're better than average.
I don't remember saying that, but I'm glad I left you guys on that note.
And you're like, yeah, I know that I don't like compliment you guys a lot, but you'll find that when you finally go out and you see other people, you'll realize that you actually have some skill. We're like, whoa, Aaron's complimenting us? He actually thinks we're decent?
I don't remember saying that. And I find it like kind of funny, but also scary that you remembered my words. So, and
yeah.
Are they true? Is it true? Do you think that you're better than average right now?
I think when I was in college, I was at my prime, and I think that I was better than average then. But when I went to grad school, I did not pick up my guitar at all for like 2 years.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What happened? I thought that music was like your thing, you know? Is it just like, oh, that's a high school thing, you know, like you you found like a lot of joy doing that, and then when you grow up, then it was like just a thing that you used to do.
Well, no, music definitely is like my thing, but I also like in terms like guitar isn't necessarily my thing. It was more so like an avenue of like ministry and a way for me to lead better than like vocally. So I think like I would practice a lot and I'd play a lot because I was leading a lot. Especially like when I was in college, I was leading a lot for Epics and also Turf, so I was playing guitar like all the time.
Yeah.
Did you and I think like
guitar
to San Diego.
Yeah,
I initially brought it, and then after I didn't touch it for like a whole year, and I was moving apartments. I was like, I am not just gonna keep this thing around. So I literally brought it back home, and I didn't even have it for the other half of the year.
Oh, shameful then. And okay, we talked about this before. You said that. You thought that you were fine. You thought that you could just pick up singing and playing guitar right all over again, right?
Yeah, I was wrong.
I hate to say it, but yeah, I mean, you can't. Not that you're bad. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, like you stop playing for a while, you lose stuff. How did it feel coming back to FCBC?
So I think that I was really excited about getting back into music because I really missed it.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, when I was in San Diego, like I wasn't super plugged into any single church to where I actually got involved and was like a part of any ministry. And so I didn't lead, well, obviously, because I didn't play guitar for that whole 2 years. So I think like coming back home, I was really excited about the potential of doing that again.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of new people doing music, and especially because I'm coming into IT, which was like a fellowship that I wasn't super like plugged into before I left, that it was also different because I'm playing with people that I never played with before.
Right.
The only person that I played with previously was Philip.
Right.
And then I never even played with you in IT.
It's true. Yeah, because all I do is just schedule right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how does it feel coming back now with all of that going on? Like new group.
It's great.
It's great.
It's
great.
It's really fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's cool. I like get to learn like people have like different styles and like everybody leads in their own kind of way, and it's nice to I have to learn how to adapt the way that I sing based on like their style and stuff. It was really interesting when I played with Matt when he led. He asked me to like play guitar and sing, and it's been forever since I played supporting guitar. Like the only time I played supporting guitar was in high school. Every other time that I played guitar was because I was leading after that. So I was like, oh man. And then also Matt is just a little bit more advanced with his arrangements and his music.
He's a professional, you know? Like,
so I was like, oh, whoa, I like really got to practice before we go into this because I might be the weak link here.
You know it's bad when you think, oh man, I might be the one. I might be the weak one here.
Yeah, and so like I was looking at his chord sheets and stuff, and I was like, I don't really like playing in this key, so I'm just gonna transpose it myself and like put a capo on it.
Nice. Brilliant move. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad to have you back on music. We can talk about Sunday music later, but let's talk about what it's like for you to come back to FCBC just in general. I mean, we talked about this a little bit. Why don't you elaborate more for me?
Yeah. I think it was like exciting to, well, before I actually came back, I was excited because I thought that I'd like see a lot of people again. But I was also nervous. And then when I actually came back and everything was different, I was like, oh man, like I gotta really work on like meeting people and figuring out like where my place is gonna be at this church. And just like making new friends in general. Cause yeah, we've talked about in the past, like a lot of the people that I was close to are no longer here or are maybe in different life stages. I think also just being post college in general, people just have less time to really meet up, or you just require a lot more intentionality to schedule that time. So it's been a little bit challenging, but I'm making progress.
Oh, good. How are you making progress?
I'm like checking out a small group.
Okay, good,
right now.
good.
So I went to my first like trial meeting.
Okay,
and I thought it went well. I think they like me. Yeah. And then I like started going to like the little workout community group that meets at like the Wong's house on Monday. So there's like community there as well. That's been like really fun.
Okay, like how much do you really feel like you're starting all over again? Do you feel like on a scale of 0 to 100, you're like at like the 0 where like you're totally new? Or do you feel like, oh, like 50% where like, oh yeah, you kind of like know some things, but half of it is still just like brand new? Like how do you feel?
Well, at this point right now, I guess maybe I feel like 65%.
Okay, all right. So
but when I first came back, I think it was more like 45%.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big difference, straddling that 50% line there. What made you say that you want to come back to FCBC? Like, you didn't have to. You know, you could have just started all over again, going to another church in the community, you know? Because at FCBC, like, the people that do know you, like, we know you, right? But then obviously things change in the course of 2 years being away. What made you say, hey, I think I'm going to try FCBC still?
Well, when I first came back home from grad school, I actually wasn't sure if I was going to stay at FCBC. It was more so kind of a placeholder until I figured out what I was going to do. Like at the time, I was still in a relationship, and I was actually leaning towards attending his church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, like that was a thing. But, you know, also things change and we're not together anymore.
Well, yeah, it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way.
Yeah. And so now that I've like kind of had my feet in FCBC for like maybe like close to half a year, I'm starting to like feel more comfortable, and I'm like getting plugged in and finding community that, I don't know, right now I don't really have a reason to leave.
Because, okay, things have changed, obviously, right? But do you feel that, like, because people know you, or I guess, like, your family, your previous history with your relationships and everything, like, do you feel that's a hindrance, or do you think that's a blessing?
I guess it goes both ways. I think a hindrance in a sense that a lot of people kind of assume that I'm going to be fine coming back, that I already have a community that I'm returning to. And if they don't know me, there's less of an inclination to want to get to know me or reach out to me or help me get plugged in, because they assume that I already know how to do that and where I can go. But at the same time, I think that it also has been helpful because, in a sense, like, I do know people and people who are in leadership, and I know who to ask if I have questions. And so when I was looking for a small group, well, first of all, I knew that small groups existed. It wasn't something that IT really like advertises a lot, because a lot of the small groups are closed. And so like if I was a newcomer like coming in, like, and I wanted closer community, I wouldn't even know that that was an option for me. Yeah, I guess like I knew what the opportunities were, and I knew that if I wanted that, like, I would ask people and they would say, well, so-and-so's in a small group and so-and-so. And I knew who those people were, and I felt comfortable asking them if they were open to adding another person. So I guess, yeah, there's like pros and cons.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you sharing that stuff. I mean, I think that you have a very interesting perspective because you grew up at FCBC. You know, it's not like you just attended FCBC. You actually grew up here and you were
Yeah, my dad was a
in.
worship leader.
Yeah, your dad led music. You led music. Like you were a leader here, and then stepping away and then coming back with everything changing. But yeah, that's a very unique perspective that not a lot of people have, especially with you being a young adult. Like I think that's a brand new thing too, because not only are you trying to get adjusted to the church, but you have a lot of life changes going on. You have career life changes going on, relationship life changes going on, family stuff going on. I am glad though that you decided to keep playing music with me on Sundays though. Were you always like, hey, if Aaron says I'm going to play, then I'm going to play? Or were you ever considering like not returning to music?
Oh, that would never cross my mind, not returning to music. That would be so sad for me.
Oh, good. I'm glad. All right, let's talk about what it's like to come back to Sunday team.
It's exciting. It's so fun.
Tell me about it. I just want to talk about us and our team now. That's all I want to talk about.
Well, it's a team that I was with before I left. And so I guess that's like the one consistency that I have, like leaving and returning.
Oh, good point. Yeah, you're right. But our team has changed too, though. Like
it has. Oh, yeah, Joyce is new.
Right.
But for the most part, everybody else has been the same.
I guess so. Maybe, yeah.
I think it's really fun because I think you also have like a higher musical standard. And so in a way, like when I serve with you, I'm also forced to like be challenged a little bit.
Oh, good. What challenges you, Jen?
Like opportunities to like practice different harmonies. And also like I know that you try to cater to everybody, but oftentimes I think my range is just like lower than everybody else's, and so I also have to push myself like in that sense too.
Wait, okay, so you think that the songs that I choose are like are higher than average or lower than average? Because I intentionally lower the keys.
Yeah,
or you want them even lower? You want them even
I don't know. Well, not all of the songs I feel like it's like 50-50. Half the songs I feel like are in my perfect range, and then some of them are just like maybe like the verse or the chorus or part of the song is like higher than I'm comfortable with, but I'm okay with that. And then if it is past my comfort zone, then I'm okay harmonizing. Unless I get a solo, then I just have to like,
right, yeah,
do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember if I gave you guys solos like 2 years ago. I feel that that's something that I've been experimenting with more. How do you feel doing solos versus doing harmonies? Do you like both?
I like both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're equally fun. Although I sometimes like when I hear it back like on recording, I feel like when I hear myself singing harmony, it doesn't sound as good as when somebody else sings harmony. But I don't know if that's just like a self-conscious kind of thing. Well, yeah, I think my sister sounds like really good when she does harmonies. Like I think her voice, like the sound of it or the tone of it just sounds like clearer or crisper. It just sounds better when she does harmony than when I do.
I feel like Julie has more practice doing harmonies than you do.
Yeah.
I feel that like when you guys like sing together, I feel like she's normally the one that defaults to harmony, and then you would normally take like lead stuff. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's also her preference. She would rather sing harmony.
So if I don't give her any solos on a Sunday, she'll be totally cool with that.
I would think so, but you might want to confirm that with her.
Right.
I don't want you to take that away from her if that's something she, looks forward to.
She's all like, wait, now that Jen's back, she's getting all my parts. What the heck? How did you feel yesterday? Let's talk about yesterday. Okay.
Yesterday felt so good.
Okay, let's go back for a second. You used to be on my side of the stage. I'm always on like, the piano side of the stage. And we used to sing together on that side. But when you first came back, I threw you on Philip's side of the stage. So how did you feel on that side versus coming back to my side, which is what we did yesterday?
So I used to sing on your side when the team was really small and I was your only other singer.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, those were a long time ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
But then when the team got bigger, and I think once you added Philip on, I think I actually I was on that side before I left.
Oh shit,
with
I
my
forgot.
sister.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and then it was like Steph
Yes,
and
Steph, yes.
Endora on your
Yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I was okay with being on the left side. Um, and I think I served with you one Sunday coming back, singing on that side. And I remember us talking about like how in practice we felt like so good and so just like able to sing our hearts out. But then getting on stage, I kind of like pulled back,
You totally
and
pulled
I knew I
back.
did.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
totally pulled back.
But this last Sunday, I think it was a combination of things. I think part of it was like, yeah, being on the right side by the piano, you feel surrounded and like safe and more you're able to express yourself emotionally, like be emotionally vulnerable because you feel physically, I don't know, protected.
There's more people there, I guess. Like it's more
Yeah.
there's more of a crowd, I guess. So you don't feel so isolated on that other side,
Yeah.
Was everything in
Oh
your
yeah,
range?
I really liked our song selection, and it was so fun to have the Camasso Quartet with us. I like wish they could be there forever.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Matt about that. Like, hey, I don't know how often we're gonna do this, and like, I don't wanna make it as if like, oh yeah, like this is it now, like forever, because then we'll just be super disappointed when they're like not there. So I
Mm.
really don't know how that's gonna pan out. But yeah, it's been fun. Hey, when you're on stage, what do you think? Like, what goes through your mind? Are you aware of like how you're standing and like obviously you're aware of how you sound, right? But like
Yeah.
what else are like how self-aware are you on stage?
Hmm.
Cuz yesterday you were, I mean, okay, obviously I can't like grade like worship on how expressive people are and raising their hands and stuff, but yesterday you were more free. You were like kind of lifting your hand a little bit more than the previous time.
Okay, I think there are like several reasons why I think that was. One, I think that I already mentioned, being on the right side, you feel safer. Two, I think because this was the second time that I've come back and played with you, and so now it's not like my first time, I guess. The last time it was like, oh, this is the first time I'm singing with
A
Aaron
little
after coming
nervous,
back.
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
nervous. Yeah. So now it's like, okay, I did this already. And then I think like the third reason may have been just because there's been a lot, and I think this goes with like the song selection, that there is a lot of like things happening in my life that I felt like I could resonate with the lyrics. And so yeah, it was just like genuine like worship in terms of like how aware I am of how I come across to the congregation. Honestly, like I don't really pay attention to that at all. Mostly the only thing I pay attention to is how I sound. I'm just listening to what other people sound like and what I sound like, if the harmonies are like working, if somebody's already singing my harmony, do I need to change it? Like even though we practice this stuff, it always changes. So I'm always like adapting based on like what's happening in the moment.
You're right. I mean, a lot of times we're vibing off of each other anyways. So even though we practice it a certain way, if the energy is low in the congregation, I think it affects us. I mean, it affects
Yeah.
me. Like sometimes I feel like, okay, I gotta get more crazy, but I mean,
Yeah.
I shouldn't. That's why I need to be like kind of aware of myself. Like I can't have the congregation affect me in that way. Like it should be like, we should affect the congregation more, I guess, than they're affecting us as the leaders.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't ever look at the congregation. I don't know if that's good or bad.
What are you looking at? You're looking at the
I look,
lyrics.
yeah, I look at the lyrics across, and then sometimes I'll like glance down at the paper to see the next line if I don't know it by heart, just to make sure that I like sing it properly if it doesn't come up as soon as I need it to. But that's like the only two things I really look at. I don't like to look at people when I don't know, because I feel like that would make me nervous.
It's a little awkward, especially if you would make like eye contact with people.
Yeah.
Like, a very intimate moment
Oh
from the
gosh,
stage
yeah.
to the congregation. Well, Jen, I'm happy that you're playing with us again. It's been really fun, and I did not send out the tapes, but I have the tapes ready, so I will probably send them out either today or tomorrow, and then we can recalibrate for this coming Sunday. But Julie won't be with us though. Julie
Yeah.
won't be with us. Did you
I
miss
know.
singing with your sister?
Um, yeah, I did. I think that when we sing together, we sound good.
I mean, your voices already blend together because, you're sisters.
Mhm.
So I think that, yes, there's that inherent, like, yeah, you guys, will sound good already. But I think because both of you guys are vocalists, like, in your own right, like, it's not like you
Mhm.
need each other to
Mhm.
sing together.
I was gonna say, like, what's really interesting is, like, yes, we're sisters, and I feel like our voices naturally, like, would sound good together, but we're also very different type of singers, like, so different,
Okay, I think that you're a stronger singer. Is that what
like,
you mean?
power.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think she has, like, a very comforting and sweetness to her voice.
The tone is different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she
I
also
agree.
has a much higher range than I do.
That's true.
And for me, I think I'm more of a, like, yeah, like a power emotional singer.
Does that match your personalities?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll talk more about Julie in another episode if we get a chance to do this again, Jen. But before we go, I want to ask you what's on your plate this summer. I know that you're doing In Transit Retreat. Why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah, so that was really interesting. I wasn't expecting to get asked to help on that planning team, um, but it's exciting to, like, feel like somebody thinks that I have skills capable of, like, contributing to planning a retreat. And again, like, I'm used to planning retreats in the past, like, with Epic and with, like, church, um, but it's different because, yeah, I'm not used to serving with these people. And so it's different because I also, don't really know, like, the, like, dynamics of personalities. I'm still, like, even meeting some of the people on the team. And I don't want to come across as like, "Oh, I know everything, and I wanna take control, and I have all these ideas. Well, this is how I did it, like, back then," and
But is
yeah.
that how you feel? Is that how you feel, though?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
I feel very, like, the opposite, actually. It's like, how do you guys do things now? What was your other IT retreat like? I don't know.
Right. Well, I'm glad you're getting involved, Jen. It's good to have you serving not only on music but also just, I guess, in other leadership stuff. Well, I guess that's still music related, but yeah, you're taking the lead again. It's good to have you back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Okay, why don't you tell me, what have you been listening to, Jen?
Well, I've actually been discovering, like, a lot of new music, but I guess, like, in particular, like, 2 songs that I've really, really been liking are, like, by Maren Morris's, like, new album.
Oh, okay. I don't even think I know that guy.
It's a girl.
Oh, Aaron Morris?
Oh, Maren Morris.
Oh, Maren Morris. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know her. Yeah.
She's like, well, she did country, and then she also did a song with Zed.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, I know Zed, yeah.
And then after that, I think her more recent stuff has been, like, less country, but still she has, like, a country sounding voice.
Yeah.
There's, like, a song called The Bones, which I really like, and it's basically a song about I think it's a song about, like, a relationship, like a romantic relationship, but, like, despite, like, the trials that they go through, like, if they have a strong foundation, it doesn't really matter what they go through, like, the bones are good, basically. And then there's another song, I think it's called There's a Song for Everything. And basically it the title is, like, that there's a song for everything that, like, other people have already, like, written. So there's, like, songs, like, about, like, when you first fell in love, or when you, like, got your heart broken, or, like, when you felt lonely, or, like, felt holy. And, like, sometimes when you don't necessarily have, like, the words, somebody else has already, like, been through that and written those words for you.
That's
that they're
true.
all singing that song for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had told you, like, I've been discovering a lot of new music, and I think because I've been going through a lot of life changes and, like, experiencing a lot of emotions that I wasn't, like, experiencing before, that it's, like, listening to other people who have been through these things. So even, like, secular music and even, like, worshipful music, like the song that we just did on Sunday, I forgot the title, the new song that we did.
Lord from Sorrow's Deep I Call.
Yeah, and how, like, that song is, like, more lamentful. Like, there are so many things in that song that I feel are, like, things that I feel that I couldn't put to words. And that I feel like I'm like connected to these people in a way, and like this song is like so related to like what I'm going through, and it's refreshing. I don't know.
You know, Jen, you're a very emotional person. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think you come across as a very emotional person, but I think that if people talk to you, you know, maybe not on a podcast, but if people straight up talk to you, then they will find out that you have a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Like, I mean, it's weird because like I feel like your personality is like a strong personality. You know, it matches your singing voice. But I don't know. Like you feel a lot of things, and you're able to relate stuff back to music lyrics. Were you always like that?
Well, I know that I've always been an emotional person, and I think it surprises people when I say that I'm a feeler and not a thinker, because I can sometimes be like opinionated, or like I don't necessarily make decisions like on a whim. Like I like to think about things and plan, and I like to be organized. And so people assume like, oh, you must be a thinker because you like have all these things planned out or whatever. Uh, I don't think that I experience enough things in life
Are you serious?
to really adequately. I don't know.
Are you serious? You've lived like so.
Like,
You live like so many. You've been through so much already in your life. I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm just generalizing, but I feel that you have a lot of life experience under your belt already.
actually, okay, yeah, I think that is true. But I think, well, so I guess for like the listeners who like don't really know me that well, or like maybe don't know me at all, well, like my mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was like 10 years old, and that's really young. And my dad was born with a genetic bone disease. So like all my life growing up, pretty much, like there has been health problems in my family. Um, Beyond like those things, like there's still things that continue to like evolve now. So I guess like when I think about, oh, I feel like I haven't like experienced a lot of like deep emotions in life. Maybe that's just because my default is just different than other people. But I'm also slow to understand myself and understand like why I feel certain things. Um, Even though I feel a lot of feelings, I don't always know like why I'm feeling that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why now, like when I hear songs that I relate to, it's so much more in like exciting because I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, I think that is like what I'm feeling. And it's just like, you get me.
So okay, how do you feel that you learn about yourself then, I guess? Like, because you just said that like, oh, sometimes you don't even know like your own feelings or whatever, right? Until it hits you. Like,
Mhm.
what is it that causes it to hit you? Like, is it music? Is that a thing? Like, is it like words that you read? Like when you read like, I don't know, freaking like articles or something? Like, or is it like talking to people? Like, what is it that makes you understand and like realize that, oh shoot, like I'm experiencing this emotion?
All the above, really. Like the revelations come in like many avenues. Obviously, I think like when I'm going through like distressing emotions and I'm not really sure like why that is, like always like a point to pray for clarity and stuff. And I pray that like God would like grant me clarity in whatever avenue that is. So sometimes it is like reading an article. Like I first was like thinking about getting out of my like relationship. Like I don't know if like people do this, but I literally Googled like why do people break up?
I'm sure people do that. I'm sure
That's
people.
dumb, but like I did because at the time I think I had this idea in my head that like people only break up if there's like red flags, like you clearly are going in different paths in life, or like there's something, or there's like sin or something like very obvious that you guys like really shouldn't be together. But like there for my relationship, it wasn't like that. And so for me, I was like trying to figure out, do I just have a problem with commitment? Are there like, is my discontentment like right or is it wrong? And so yeah, I was reading stuff about relationships, and I was journaling a lot, and part of it was like, yeah, listening to songs of people that were thinking about breaking up. There's this song called "I Don't Miss You" by, I think his name was like Jake Scott or Jacob Scott or something like that. And I was like listening to this song, I was like, why do I kind of feel like this is true?
Oh
And it's okay that I feel this way. Yeah. So yeah, it really is like a combination of things, really.
Okay. Jen, you recently, so your relationship status, it was changed recently, okay? Like, I think it's a recent change. I think you're still processing it, honestly. You were in a long-term relationship, and it's gonna take a long time to process it and really like kind of understand not only like you guys, right? Like you guys as a previous couple, but also you just as an individual, and then figuring out like, okay, who are you now just as yourself, not like tied to another person, compared to like, I guess like what your parents have been going through, because like what you said, like that was like from when you were like younger. Do you feel that this relationship thing is like kind of more like emotionally affecting you right now? Or do you feel that like it's like, how does it, like how does this compare? Like there's a lot just going on, like is this like the big item on your mind?
It's not like it's constantly like weighing on my mind, and it's not like constantly heavy on my heart. Yeah, I think that it just comes in waves, really, at like random times when I like think about it. And I think with my parents, that was also a really tough thing when my mom initially went into like ICU like 2 years ago. So this was actually when I first started grad school. My mom she was in the ICU for a while, and they had to like intubate her. She like first got her trach, and my dad was going through cancer treatment at the same time. That was probably the most like sad emotions that I've ever felt, because I thought that I could potentially lose like both of my parents like at the same time.
Yeah, that's heavy stuff.
From home.
Yeah.
And I think that sadness was like not just sadness for myself for potentially like losing my parents, but sadness for them, because I know that like they were suffering, and like I know that they love each other, and they're also like worried about losing each other. Like I think it really, like when I don't have to talk about my feelings out loud, I'm very good at kind of just not expressing that sadness like on the outside. Even like when I have to like help my parents at home, I'm okay like appearance wise on the outside. I seem like my life can resume its like typical schedule. I'm not like depressed or anything like that. Then I remember like when I was sitting in the hospital with my mom, like my dad wanted to talk to her, and I like had him on speakerphone with my mom, and he was kind of like, crying, saying like, I don't know if I can like get through this like cancer treatment like without you. And that like really like hit hard, because I was like, this is like their love story, like when you watch like movies, you're not in the movie and you're not like part of that situation, but you empathize and you cry for those characters. And like, my parents were these characters, and they're going through such a tragic like time in their love story. And that was like really sad for me.
Okay, so you make a good point, and like I think that like it's okay. So for me, like I know you, right? I know Julie. Like I know your parents, but like I don't know them. Like how I know you guys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like personally, I guess, right? And so it's easy for me to just think like, oh, like this is Jen's life. But in reality, like your parents are living their own lives, and you're absolutely right. Like it's it's their story. It's not like just like, oh, like you and like how they're affecting you, you know, like they're trying to do their own thing too. And I think that's a big deal. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal too, because when we're leading music, right? A lot of times it's easy for people to just think like, okay, when I'm singing to God, this song relates to me in this way. But in reality, like, shoot, when you're singing with the congregation, with the church, you need to remember that, like, hey, like, it's all of us singing to God. So there are other people that are like living their lives and stuff we don't even know about, but they're just trying to get through it too. And I think that as a fellow worship leader, you know, I think that's why like maybe these songs like mean a lot to you and maybe mean a lot to me, just because like it's not just us, but it's everybody. It's everybody.
Yeah.
And so I think it's super encouraging seeing you sing and seeing Julie sing, and you know, everybody else, like everybody's going through their own stuff, and a lot of times we don't know it. But I think that's part of what makes singing at church so encouraging, is just that like even though we don't know exactly what people are going through tough times out there, and if we can all sing and encourage each other and just worship God together in that way, I think the Lord is pleased in that, and I think that we bless and encourage each other in that way too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Jen. This is good stuff. This is pretty good for our first podcast, I think. I think we should yeah, I think we should do it again. I think we should make this one a to be continued. Besides, we have to serve again on Sunday, and so we're gonna have to do some follow up to see how we fare without Julie. So
and also like see how we sound after we actually listen to the tape.
You're absolutely right. Yes, we need.
I think, now I think in my head that we sounded good, but like, what if I didn't sound good? So I'm like, oh, can I just backtrack everything that I just said on the last podcast? Clearly, I'm not that self-aware.
I think we'll be okay. I heard the tapes. We're not bad. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, it's like a B-, B+.
Yeah. We're hovering around that average way. So yeah.
Standard, okay.
Thanks for doing the podcast, Jen.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jen, for being my guest on the show, and thank you everyone for listening. Please send me your feedback or questions for follow-up. You can even send me any questions specifically for Jen to follow up on, and I'll be sure to get to them in the next few episodes. In the show notes, you'll find links to the Sound Words podcast archive. And don't forget to subscribe to Sound Words on YouTube, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. Just search for Sound Words. My website is musicgoon.com. The email address for this podcast is soundwords@musicgoon.com, and you can always tweet me at musicgoon. Thanks. See you soon.